we're trying to decide between one of these hypotheses.
Excuse me.
Don't bless you.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Now, for overall regression, we will look in the regression row. And we will look at what it says significance, sig is S, is on F, and that is the p-value. And we'll look at the p-value in the regression row. And then we would say, is there a regression? Yes. Since p-value is equal to a really, really small number, 286 times 10 to the minus 10. Rather than print out all those zeros, they go to what's called scientific notation. And they're just saying 286 with an exponent to the minus 10. And it's on the base 10. Now, once we establish that there is regression, then we have to do some detailed analysis with regard to the betas. We have to hypothesize that beta 1 is equal to 0, beta 1 is not equal to 0, and over here we have to hypothesize beta 1 is equal to 0, beta 2, I'm sorry. And we have to check those out. What we're trying to decide is whether B1 and B2 exist. Now, looking at the printout, which value is B1? What's the first independent variable? Price. So that would be B1. What's the value of B1? Minus 53.2173. That's the value of B1. Everybody see that? Now we ease across there, and there's a t-stat, and then there's a p-value. And what's the p-value? 9.2 e to the 09. So we're going to reject H sub O since the p-value is equal to 9.2 10 to the minus 9. Times, that's the million, 100 million, 10 million, might be roughly 9.2 out of 100 million times we would commit type 1 error. Pretty good position to be in. Now, promo or promotion is the B2. What does it have as a p-value? 982. What was the exponentiation? Minus 8? 6. That's pretty small, this is pretty small. We will reject the null in both cases. And so we conclude that both independent variables belong in our model. Both independent variables belong in our model. So the regression equation would look like this. Now notice that the B1 is negative. But what is that telling us about the price variable? Sales is really, or sales are, inverse in the sense that you raise the price, what happens to sales? Go down. Page 539 introduces what they call the regression coefficients, the BJs. And there's a t-test, and there is a t-test, but we really read the p-value, so we don't worry too much about doing the t-test. They go through the t-test, but the p-value is a more direct approach. But what I wanted you to see on top of page 540 is the interpretation of these coefficients. And I'm going to reword it a little bit, but what it says would be, this is the change in y resulting from the change in x1 when you hold x2 constant. So it's singling out each independent variable and giving their relationship to the dependent variable while you hold the other independent variables constant. The slope, very top 540, slope of the variable j with y, meaning change in y per unit x, that's all the wording. Holding constant the effects of all other independent variables. So, the interpretation of B1 is the change in y associated with the change in x1 holding x2 constant. Now remember, these are the regression coefficients. They were showing you a t-test. I've already shown you how just to look at the p-value and you can decide whether to keep them in. Now, as a guide, when might you decide to fail to reject the null? That is, not include the variable. Sort of a rule of thumb might be, if the p-value exceeds 0.05, we would probably fail to reject.